Hello, I'm Sleeker and welcome back to the video. Today I have some good news to share with you all because another update has just launched for Minecraft on the Bedrock version, that's the Xbox, Pocket Edition and Windows 10, as well as any other version that runs the Better Together update, because basically a brand new update has just come out. It's the 1.2.1 update and it brings a few new features, it brings a few tweaks to existing features, and it also brings in some bug fixes, a lot of bug fixes in fact, which is always a good thing for an update. So in today's video I wanted to explain what exactly is inside this update so you can know what's going on. Like this if you do like it though, because it helps out the channel, and let's know you do like the update news videos. I want to keep on seeing these every single time an update comes out. So yeah, with that said, let's get straight into it, shall we? And let's start with the brand new feature in this update, the most important one, which is for console users only, because it is a brand new cursor when you move around the UI. So previously you had to scroll around everything like this, you know, block by block, and it was a little bit clunky. It wasn't great in my opinion, but they've added a cursor upon popular request, and I really think this is a great change to the game because now it means you can actually move stuff physically from one place to another without having to go like, you know, like now you can actually smoothly move from one point to another like you could on the old version. So yeah, as far as I can tell right now, like the default sensitivity isn't too great, but yeah, you know, for most people this is pretty fun, but still you can now move stuff where you want to a lot easier and a lot faster and without having to wait for like the whole this thing to kick in, and I just think that's a positive change. So yeah, I mentioned this earlier this week though. What else is in this update that we didn't know about before? Well, one of these features is a really weird one that I've never wanted but might be your sort of thing, because by default when you sprint in Minecraft there is this, you know, Fov expansion. It's by about 5 degrees, and if you look at my screen right now you can see how I see a little bit more when I sprint. That's an FOV change. So now in the settings next to your FOV, for some reason, or again, it's just one of the features in this update, there's now an option to turn that off. You can make it so FOV can be altered by gameplay, or, which is the default setting by the way, or you can make it so it's not altered by gameplay. And this just feels really weird because this is what it looks like when I'm sprinting. I'm like, you can't even tell I'm doing it because of the FOV thing. It's really weird, but you might prefer this because there's no, you know, jarring, breaking gameplay, and maybe if that, you know, FOV thing isn't your thing, you can change that. So again, I don't really want this personally because I like the FOV change, but if you don't, then you can turn that off, and again, it's weird for me, but maybe it's not for you. So the next little change is they made it so when you select any item in the creative inventory, or when you use your inventory slots, you're actually going to be able to see this little white outline. So I like this white outline. It makes the green thing just a little bit clearer. As you can see, it's on the top and the left for some reason, not all the way around, but yeah, it means, you know, it just makes it a little bit clearer when you're grabbing the item. I think combined with the cursor, this makes everything a little bit more usable, and it feels more like the old version of console, if not a little bit clearer, which is, again, positive change in my opinion. So then we've also got adjusted the block placement speed when using a controller. I like this change quite a bit because as you can see right here, the block placement speed used to be really broken. So if you went like this, you'd eventually just place blocks like out like that every now and then, and it wouldn't be good because they didn't sync up the block speed and the control speed. But they in this update actually did change that, and that's a change I'm a real big fan of. So as you can see right here, if I go to the right here and I try to place all these blocks, they're going to place perfectly as I move because they synced up the speed, and I love that personally. It means building is now so much faster. Look how easy this is. I just kind of run to the left and it just happens. And the same is true for destroying blocks, by the way, because you can destroy it pretty much any speed. So yeah, you can now build stuff a lot easier in this update, and that's something I'm just like universally on board with. I love it. It's a really positive change, and it's something you can do in this update. Finally, the big you know, little tweak they've made is they've made it so when you select an item from the creative inventory and the hotbar is full using a controller, the item will be placed on the cursor and focus will shift to the hotbar, offering them the opportunity to replace the existing item in the hotbar with a new item, which sounds like a lot of stuff, but basically if we have a full hotbar, so let's just say we got a bunch of fences and you want to grab a new thing, then as you can see, it's going to shift your focus to this thing, and you can then, again, do you see that? Like you can replace an existing block in there with something else. So yeah, if you want to just replace a block in your hotbar, you can now do that a lot easier. Before, again, it used to be a different system. Basically, they made it like the old console version, and I'm such a fan. All of these changes, you know, every change besides the FOV one, which is just kind of weird, but yeah, again, it might be your thing. But you know, every one of these changes has been made to make it a bit more like the console version, and that's just something positive in my opinion. They made the game better, and that's what the 1.2.1 update was all about. It made the game a tiny bit more console-like, and I like this commitment to actually, you know, caring about the console version, and yeah, it's positive signs of things to come in my opinion. Again, that's why I think the 1.3 update should be a promising little update, because they seem to be committing to doing even more of this, and we also might see like a 1.2.2 doing even more of this stuff. So let's talk about bug fixes. There's a whole bunch of them in this update, and I can't go through all of them, but I will show them a little bit. So they made several changes to, because there's a few which are actually like like kind of more than bug fixes. They made several changes to the settings, create new world, edit world, and how to play screens to make it more intuitive when using a controller. Basically, they made the console version a little bit friendlier, and the biggest thing you'll notice is this, all of the menus, they just feel much better to scroll around. Like before, it really wasn't designed for a controller. Now it just works perfectly, which is great when you're playing on the console version, but it's also great if you play on any other version. So I think that's kind of wonderful. Again, the ability to just scroll through everything like this. It's a bit easier in certain places. You'll spot it mostly in this menu though, which I do like a lot better. So boom, this menu is now a bit easier to use. I like that personally. They've made it so that there's a third-party server performance has been improved. You might notice your frame rate really dips on servers. They've upped that somehow with a bug fix update, which is interesting. They fixed a lot of crashes to do with rendering issues, to do with changing a user profile, to do with saving world. They made it so at R will no longer target the oldest entity and will now target a random entity. Basically, the random command wasn't working. They made the search marker work a lot better. They fixed the server issue where if you went into a game after a server, you'd be missing a bunch of items. It was weird. The furnace recipe, a bunch of stuff like that too. They fixed a bunch of issues. The Minecon 2015 skin pack, again, that's a very interesting one, but I didn't notice because I don't use the skin pack. But they fixed some console skin packs. They made it so slimes will spawn above level 40. Above level 40 regardless of light level. They made it so the crosshair will no longer appear when in third-person camera modes. So that's kind of positive. Now when you look at yourself in first person, there's no crosshair, which again, that's like the other versions, I believe, and it's just something, again, personally, I like it. I don't really use third person, because I'm not one of those YouTubers that's like, hey, it's Frosty the Panda, but, if that's your thing, or if you like seeing those things, it's not going to be obfuscated by the crosshair anymore. So then we've also got the playlist in host options will now probably scroll, so again, kind of a positive thing. The cake is not a lie on controller. The recipe book no longer says ingredients are missing when they're present in the inventory, so that's a fun little joke right there. Basically, there's a bunch of bug fixes, again, scrolling through each of them individually. I really want to read out each of them one by one to let you know what they are, but for most people, you won't run into these bugs. It's worth checking out the whole thing, and that's a whole thing worth mentioning there. So they also said they fixed a bunch of world conversion issues, fixed nether fortresses, missing parts of floors and walls after world conversion. They converted witches and bats no longer have fast movements, fixed vindicators not having axes, bed spawn points, players now spawn, banners created for conversion, not stacking with new banners, crash when loading a converted world in the end after defeating the dragon, firework stars no longer have black firework star icon after conversion. Boom. So basically they fixed a bunch of bug issues. I'm going to quickly check if my world is fixed now, because that's what I get curious about when I hear that. But basically, yeah, they did a bunch of changes to the game, made it a lot more bug fixed, and they've also fixed the world conversion, supposedly. So we'll check the world conversion out while I'll show you, talk about a few more bug fixes, just in case you're like, but I want to hear more, Toycat, I want to know what changed in this update. So if that's you, then they increased the spawn rate of ghasts, which not a huge fan of. I like that they were so rare. They fixed the length of explosion particle animations, fixed trees taking too long to grow from saplings. I didn't know that was an issue, but apparently it was. Crops will now grow roughly twice as fast as they used to, so crops grow faster. That's kind of a good thing. The host options menu can be used to change weather when the do weather cycle option is false. So that's interesting. They fixed the controller hint when opening and closing the recipe book. And let's do this right now. Live, have they fixed my world conversion for my world? This is one of my big complaints about this, the thing, because a lot of people have the same issue. If my world's fixed, there's a good chance yours is too, because this world has a bunch of complexity to it, and it's kind of a positive thing. So, also, they made it so footstep audio is no longer played twice if you're in split screen. They made a bunch of crashes being fixed. They made it so the how to play menu in the pause menu make sure it actually shows text now. Again, more easier to use as well. Fixed the jump animation of ignited TNC. They fixed a bunch of bug fixes, basically. Go check out the changelog if you want to read each of those, if you're excited for your bug fix. But the important things is that they made the game a little bit more like console, and the important thing is they fixed a bunch of bugs, and yeah, I like the commitment to going towards more stuff, and it gets me more excited for 1.3. So like this video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot. Let's know you do like this sort of video. It's still not fixed, so any developers watching this, how about you get my world fixed for 1.2? Like if you liked it, share if you really liked it, subscribe when you're around here, and make sure you hit the bell so you can know about these updates every single day as soon as they come out on my channel, because that's a thing I imagine you would like to do. So before we go, I'm streaming in like 10 minutes. Go check that out, because I like streaming. I had to delay the stream to make this video. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!